Welcome to Mailbag, the podcast that's been described by Michael Owen as tremendous, by the way. I am joined this week by MDA, Foxy, and Kate. And I am wearing a face mask because Mike promised to flounce if I had a shave.
You are
so much jeopardy. Am I clean shaven? Mike has described my clean shaven face as a walk time, and he's right. It's fair. So this is going to be like a sort of big reveal, quite provocative, but
oh, thank God! Oh, thank God!
This is quality YouTube content. This just from Mike's face.
Honestly, I would have just gone. That would have been it. You wouldn't have seen me for dust.
I was so tempted because it would have been dead funny. But for anyone listening, I've actually kept the beard. I just trimmed it back a little bit. You know,
looks good.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Great podcast content. This
solid facial hair.
Yeah, you know, it's doing all right. It joins up. Fine. Anyway, we'll go straight. So as ever, get your Evan players at the ready. What's the heaviest thing you've ever lifted?
Andre Gomez. Generally, I have. This is linked to something in the media at the moment.
It is, yeah.
These have got pretty kind of niche, haven't they? I have no idea what this is linked to. I just want to say Andre Gomez and
that's fair.
Heaviest thing. Sorry.
He's got good facial hair as well.
He has tremendous, and he smells pretty good too.
Yeah, he needs to cut his hair back a bit though.
I think his strength is in his hair.
Yeah. Mike's just looking at this.
I just feel like I've woken up into like the weirdest fever dream that I've had since I had the vaccine the other week. It's been just
Have we always had a long-haired player? Not like necessarily like every squad, but thereabouts. I was thinking of like David. Oh my God, I can't even speak. David Ginola and the locks. Yeah, you know what I
mean? He had good hair. Good hair.
Like a mane. Anyway, this hot topic. It's about Tom Stoltman was crowned the world's strongest man.
Oh, maybe you used to watch World's Strongest Man on Channel 4 or whatever it was on.
Is that the Scottish guy?
Yes.
Scotland did something for
A series of Herculean challenges, apparently, in Sacramento, California, including pushing a steam train and carrying huge stones weighing up to 160 kilograms each.
Wow.
That's over twice my weight.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
Do you remember, this has just made me remember something else. What was it called? Was it Superstars?
Yeah.
Superstars. I don't know why, but World's Strongest Man always makes me think of Superstars because that program was the absolute tit.
What? Yeah. Right. Who hosted it first of all, and what was it on?
I don't know.
It's a really old one. It's sport. It was sports stars doing different sports.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The famous one of Kevin Keegan coming off his bike. Yeah. Isn't there?
That's the one that was like the week before the European Cup final or something on it.
Yeah, which is
I'm Googling this.
And he gets back on the bike and still gets beat.
Lovely cat. Just go down, Foxy. What's the heaviest thing you've ever lifted?
It's got to be Everton, hasn't it? It's got to be. I have zero reasons to be an Evertonian. Like no family connection, not growing up in the area. It's given me years of abuse going through school, going through work. It's been a reason for forming friendships. It was cited in the reason for my first divorce as one of the kind of factors involved. And I've now passed it on to my children like a hereditary disease. So I think, I think being an Everton fan is a pretty big millstone around most of our necks. If you talk to my kids, we had a chat last Father's Day, and they kind of say that my three favourite things is probably wine, Everton, then the kids. So, yeah, I think the heaviest thing I've lifted throughout my life is being an Everton supporter.
Yeah, Mr. Robot agrees. Dave said, I think carrying the weight of Everton's misery on my shoulders every day is pretty heavy. Yeah. That's a reasonable one, I think. Mike?
See, I don't do much heavy lifting.
You can get people to do it for you.
I have the hands of a French Duke. Like, look at these hands. Never done a day's work in life. Not proper work. Not like manly work. I do like not manly work because it's much easier. And who wants to lift things for a living? Not me. But what I have started doing recently is, for the first time in my entire life, I have used weights in exercise. It's horrible.
How's that going for you?
Like genuinely, I went to eat me dinner the other day after doing it. I couldn't lift my arms up. Some sort of invalid
Praying
trying to
mantis.
lift without actually like moving my arm at all. So I had to like sort of lurch towards the ham and cheese toastie that I've made, and it was not a good look. I ended up with cheese all over the place. But,
What's your weapon of choice, Mike? You going on like kettlebells or dumbbells or what?
dumbbells. Because
Look at you going straight in for the good stuff as well.
Two tickets to the gun show, right there.
Fun.
Kate?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in a little bit on what Foxy said there. I think the heaviest thing that I still carry is the weight of the stupid decisions that I've made previously in life. So yeah, a couple of divorces, not just one, two, just to make sure. And yeah, that's probably it.
How many have you got, Foxy?
Just one at the moment.
Just the one for me as well.
Good work, mate. Good work. Fucking losers.
We can only hope to achieve levels of 2. So
I know, that's it.
Career goals.
Yeah.
Mike, maybe one day you'll join us in the divorcees club. Who knows?
Maybe one day I'll get divorced.
Oh.
One day. I have endless anecdotes from Mailbag all about it. Right. Next up, Everton players at the ready. What's the worst job interview you've ever had?
Oh man.
I mean, this is really quite.
Steve Simonson.
So,
This is one of two things, and I kind of hope it's both. It's either Rafa Benitez being interviewed for the Everton job, or it's Matt Hancock being a dirty dog and interviewing his mistress for jobs. Like, I'm sorry, I don't even care if it's not the answer, but I read this right, and I saw it was like she gets paid like it's a 15 grand a year job, and I was like, what? Like that seems, and then I realized she does about 5 days work in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
okay.
Yeah,
what?
I think the job description said 15 to 20 days throughout the year, didn't it? In
Like,
maximum,
it's literally like $1,000 a day.
as well as the
Jesus.
fact that she's also on the board of like other companies and stuff as well. It's not like it's her only job.
Well, there was the story about sort of she's on some medical board and they got some NHS contracts.
I am shocked. by
Nicely
that.
linked.
Really
thought
shocked.
it.
Really shocked.
Was I right,
So,
by the
okay,
way?
so what's that?
Was I right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was Benitez, but yeah, we'll have Hancock as well. I was just thinking about.
Well, someone else has, obviously.
Yeah. Just thinking about how mad the interview process must be at Everton. Imagine going for that interview.
Well, he hasn't. He's just rang them up and told them he's having the job because he lives down the road. So
they're round the corner, lads.
You can bike in.
Yeah.
He's rung up. He's gone, lads, I've got me fast tag ready. It's all good to go. And let's have it. And that's all. And Farb Mashiri's been brilliant. Sold.
Loads it up with a tenner sound.
He'll be posting boomerangs going over the Mersey Gateway on his first day, won't he? I'm back.
I tell you what, though, if he had to get public transport, it's not good getting from West Kirby to Goodison. It takes ages. Not a good train.
You're going to elaborate on that, or are you just going to leave it?
I would just say, I mean, it's a big walk from his gaff to the train station.
Yeah, but he'll be going to Finch Farm most days, so surely you go the other way.
I have no idea.
What's West Kirby up around Chester? I just can't believe we're talking about like. Do you want me to just ring the highways agency and find out?
Everywhere in Wirral's near Chester. Nowhere in Wirral's near Chester.
I didn't say that. I think everywhere in Wirral is near West Kirby, near Hoylake. I'm sorry, I don't even know where Wallasey
right
is.
next door to Hoylake.
It's all the same
What's the
place.
worst job interview you ever had?
I once went for a job interview in the middle of the city where I was rung up a week before and said, and a woman on the phone said to me, yeah, we just need you to turn up between some point at 11 and 1. And I was like, right, that seems a bit weird, but okay. So I get training and I'm like, okay, right, I'll sit down and get in for 12 and, be there handy, but not too late or not too eager, but like playing serious mind games. And I get in there and it turns out she told me the wrong thing. And what actually was the case was it was a group interview that was from 11 o'clock until 1 o'clock. So I walked in at 12 and was like, here for the interview. And there's about 50 people all sat there looking at me. And you could just see them looking like, you knobhead. And I was stood there. And he was like, you want to fill the stuff out? And I was like, yeah, go on, I'll fill it out. So I take the stuff off and I sit down for 2 minutes. And then I just had this wave come over me. And I just went, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
So I just picked my phone up and went, I've just got to just put the stuff down, pick my bag, and I walked straight out because there was no way I was wasting an hour of my life there. So that was pretty not ideal, to be honest with you.
That's heavy, that.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, I did also have one where I interviewed for a job while I was on holiday, which was a strange experience. I got the job, so 10 out of 10 for me. But I was on holiday in a renovated church in Anglesey. So the Wi-Fi was crap. And behind me, I didn't realise until after about 10 minutes into starting the interview that behind me was where the old pulpit was, where it's like this big, grand mahogany thing that's been built into the wall. So it's basically the load-bearing wall now. And it was sort of like the edge of a ship or something, this really grand thing with loads of ornate designs on it. And I can just see it here where the door is, over my shoulder, just dominating the entire thing. And as I'm talking, I can see the people who are interviewing me. Every so often they're just looking, and you can see them kind of thinking, does he live in a mansion? What's going on? So I just went, I'm just going to have to stop, aren't I? I'm going to have to let you know that I don't actually live in a converted church. I am on my holidays, because otherwise that would have not gone down excellently. But I got the job because I'm great.
Lovely stuff. That's got to be a plus point, doing an interview on your holidays.
It was on my birthday as well.
Well, you had to get that job, didn't you?
Did. Would have been, honestly, if I would have got that, I never would have taken a job again. I would have been living on the streets by now.
It wouldn't have been worth it. Everything was stacked up to get that job. Is it the job you got now?
Yeah.
Lovely stuff.
Oh.
A nice story. I feel bad bringing it down now, but Foxy, what was your worst interview?
I've worked for the same company for the last 19 years. So I haven't done a lot of kind of external interviews. The last proper one I had that went wrong was straight after university. So I've been to uni in Bristol, came out from a business studies degree course, kind of fresh-faced and green and enthusiastic and full of things like portfolio management and Boston Tea Party matrices and stuff like that. And I went for a job as a business development manager with a company that kind of sold construction material, so the building trade, and turned up for an interview at 1, and they just sat me down next to a phone with a list of contacts and a brochure of stuff to sell, and said, right, phone these 20 people, here's the stuff you're trying to sell, crack on with it. I knew nothing about the stuff in the brochure. I'd never spoken to these people before. Spent about 3 hours going through, just confusing people, getting loads of abuse back. What are you doing? You don't know what you're talking about. Blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of it, I just left. And there was no kind of follow-up conversation. There was no phone call the next day. Do you want to come back in? Do I want to go back in? We both knew it went incredibly badly. Walked away from it, and it was that kind of naive, green-faced university student quickly grew up and realised the life of cold calling random things wasn't for me.
It sounds like they were just tapping up students for 3 hours work.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, but we didn't sell anything, so it's a waste of their time as well. Just made their clients slightly angry that they had a very confused phone call from.
What was how the conversation went at there? And though, should we call them back or what?
Nah. It was the same in my head as well. Shall I kind of inquire to see how I got on? Nah, it was done.
It's like if you sort of see someone in the supermarkets, but you don't want to let on to them. You know they don't want to let on to you, so you just ignore each other. And no let on, kind of like that.
You kind of look the other way, don't you? You look at the greens and they're looking at the fruit, and you kind of just bypass each other subtly.
Yeah, and face masks have been brilliant for that, because you can just about get away with just, I didn't recognise you there if they let on to you.
Yeah.
Hey, anyway, what's your worst interview?
Probably anything that's involved misogynistic. Always white middle-aged man. Unsurprisingly,
as a white middle-aged man, I can safely say it's
unsurprisingly
white middle-aged men.
Yeah, when I was much younger, so I started off in call centers and stuff. Do you remember Orange as a network?
Yes.
Back in the day. Oh my God, Mike, you do as well. You're like 12. That's mad.
Leave me alone. I'm here for the OG. Was it Orange Wednesdays when you could go for a Pizza Hut in the cinema?
Anyone got a code?
Right. Oh my God. Well, even when Nothing to do with orange, like specifically, but I used to do quite a lot of like temping work and stuff when I came back from Australia. And you are just literally treated like a piece of meat. Like, they're just not interested. They just want somebody in the seat with a headset on, chatting shit basically all day. Because back in the day when Orange first started, even if you had a pay-as-you-go phone, it still had to be registered, rather than it just being like a burner. It had to be registered in somebody's name. But because it was a free phone number,
Pablo Escobar.
I know, Jesus. Because it was a free phone number, we used to get loads of like little kids ringing up and just like saying swear words down the phone and then putting them down again. Right? So we used to get at least every week, we'd have like a little tally. This has nothing to do with me interviewing. This is when I worked up in Kirby. So we keep a little tally, and every now and then we'd ring them back and frighten the shit out of them. It was dead funny. They'd be like, "Oh, hi, I'm just calling Forrest. Can I speak to your mum or your dad, please?" And they'd be like, panicking down the phone. It's hysterical. But yeah, I think I have a real bugbear with recruitment agencies. I think a lot of the practices and the way that they treat people is still unacceptable. And I've had this is Mike's fault. Right, and I'll explain why. Because he forced me to start watching Mad Men, which I have binged this week. And there are certain parallels, Mike, with starting off in the workforce about 15 years ago that you can throw right the way back to 1950s America, apparently. And that it is, and it's horrible to kind of pigeonhole anybody, but it kind of is that middle-aged white dude who's just like, well, this is my job because I deserve it and I'm better than you. You're a temp, whatever, get on and get the job done. And there's not a lot of difference there. Like starting off with hiya, you don't mind because we call everyone love here. Okay. And ordinarily I don't, but because you've made a thing out of it, it's going to piss me off now. So yeah, and it's horrible that still goes on. So all the recruitment agency people who are tuning in right now, please don't do that. Just treat people like people.
Have you ever has anyone ever been found up by a pyramid scheme for an interview?
Oh God, no.
Right, so so this is a thing now. Obviously you are all way too old for this, unfortunately, but
yeah.
They have this thing now where they'll phone up, they'll go on like Indeed or LinkedIn or something, like, and they'll whittle down people who've left university in like the past 3 or 4 years, and they'll literally phone them up with like proper pyramid scheme jobs where it's like you do not get an actual salary. It's all based on commission. If you get more people involved, you get more money.
Shut
honestly,
up.
Really? But like the best thing is, like, if you are not a moron, it's blatantly obvious that this is what's happening within a second of them phoning you up. So you just spend 10 minutes listening, and you just go, how do you sleep at night? Like, you are an awful person. What are you doing? And like, because they don't expect someone between the age of 24 and 28 to actually get onto it. When they do, it's so good. It's like my heroin. It's why I'm still on. It's why I'm still on. Like, I'm still on Indeed. I've got it all. Like, all my things are still set up for them, just in case you can have that one day where all that anger that you build up through life and just general things like the milk's gone off or you stubbed your toe or anything, I can take it out on this knobhead who's trying to con students out of so much time and money. And it's so fun. It's lovely. So my advice to everyone is change your details on LinkedIn, on Indeed, to make it look like you are a student who's just come out of university, and wait for these people to phone you up, because just having a go at someone who is pure evil is such a cathartic experience, and it's lovely. It's really fun.
I'm up for that.
Very good.
It is.
Yeah,
really
so we all set ourselves up with 24-year-olds on Indeed and LinkedIn. Sounds a bit iffy, but
yeah, slightly catfishy, but I hope. Saturday, isn't it?
Catfishing pyramid schemes.
What age? What age is middle age, by the way? What's your view on it, Les?
I'm 44, so I'm thinking
38.
38 is middle age.
38.
Is there a reason you said that?
Checking out to 76. That's what you're saying.
Because 40 is not middle age, is it? Let's be honest with you. 40 is just 40. Like when you're 40, you're just 40. But there has to be at least a 2-year period before you hit 40 where you recognize that you're about to hit 40 and you cack yourself about hitting 40. So therefore, those 2 years bleed into the rest of middle age. So
this is like the Truman Show. Are you watching every day of my life right now?
Pretty much, yeah.
See, I found 28 to 30 was worse than 38 to 40. Much worse. I don't know
I'm
what.
on the precipice.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. 35
Yeah.
was middle age for me because I'm going to die of definitely going to die of a diabetic coma before I hit like anything over 70.
And there's no
100%.
way I'm making 88.
Nah,
So I'm well past middle age. Absolutely.
we
not.
look if I make pension.
Although I will be working until that because I won't be retiring either.
So, and that'll be something
Yeah,
that completely ties in as well, that you'll understand and appreciate, is that when you work in kind of media or any kind of freelance, like capacity or whatever, is when you get recruiters who are like, we just need you to write a 600-word practice article. We won't publish it, but we won't pay you for it. We just need to check that you can do it. That's really funny, because how did it end up in the Daily Mail like 2 weeks later then? And you defo did get paid for it because you placed it. And it's all of this, oh yes, and and it's like £25 per 1,000, 100 million, that's not even a number, but words. Is that all right? And it'll go up to £26.47 after 6 months if you're really good. Sound.
I think people who freelance, they must have such a low life expectancy compared to like normal people,
It's hard going. It's really hard going.
I will never ever do it again because it's just terrifying. As an experience, like, I'm one of them people who I need to know what I'm having for tea 2 weeks in advance. Otherwise, like, my head's gonna go. If I don't know that I'm having spaghetti carbonara a week next Thursday, then my head's battered. I may as well just be driving to Dundee barefooted, scrambling on a Toblerone. It's not good. So freelancing, never again. Because
I did it for 2 weeks and my bottle. No, 2 months. Sorry, my bottle went. So the first month, it was flying and I was dead busy. Like, this is great. And then I realised there's nothing coming in for the next month there. Just went out. Like, no, can't do this.
Proper graft, man. It is. It's proper graft, and the vast majority tend to be women, because you can work from home, you can fit it around the kids, and all the other stuff that goes with it. So yeah, general shitty behaviour and and conditions. So let's change that. Let's get rid of our health secretary, unhealthy secretary.
You need to have top politicians that don't interview people based on a gooseability chart.
Gooseability. I might need to see that. Shall I go on Canva and make one?
Gooseability.
A gooseability chart.
I do not want to see the Blue Room gooseability chart, to be honest with you. I really don't want to see that.
I'm going to have to get Hannah and Laura on the blower either, otherwise this is all going to go in your favour.
Oh dear, man. Alan replied to this and he said the worst interview for him was a toss-up between a massive display stand of Miracle Grow or a washing machine British gas retentions team. All-day interviews alongside about 15 other people going for the job who also worked in the office for other roles. He was unemployed. So he was up against British gas people.
Wow.
Gas job.
That's one of them where you just leave.
Yeah.
It's one of them cathartic experiences. Like, don't, like, if you've never ever done it, just leave an interview of your own accord, because it's boss. It's such a lovely feeling.
Empowering, I know isn't it?
That's not a helpful thing to say to actually get jobs. But if you want to feel about 1,000,000 feet tall and swagger all the way back down to Greg's when you're getting your sausage roll to go back home and be unemployed, then yes, it's a fun time.
See, that's what I should have done. When I had an interview for the restaurant group for their sort of in-house media team, I basically got bullied out the interview by the CEO.
Nice.
Who had to go at me for wearing a suit to an interview. That was
what?
Thing. Yeah, and then he was like, "You're dead boring. I thought you were this chirpy scouser." Like, I'm scouser. It was hot to the point where the fella who was like keen to employ me because he knew it was right for the job, he stopped the interview, just gave this fella looking at just leave it there, took me out and goes, "Look, I'm really sorry about that," and apologised. But to this day, I'm gutted they just never like got up and told him he was a twat or something and walked. I kind of took it because I really wanted the job.
See, I'm on his side when it comes to the suit wearing. There's nothing there's nothing I loved more than going for an interview and being sat next to someone who was wearing a suit.
Yeah, but not like sat there at 17 and in your dad's suit with a record of achievements. Actually in a suit that fits you, that you look good in.
Yeah, no, he had a suit on himself. All the women in the room were smartly dressed. All the fellas had suits on.
That is so weird.
Not wearing a suit. He was just a tit. So I've eaten piccolinos since.
Oh, well, I'm not going to either then.
Or, boycott it.
Go back as your faux 24-year-old self. And your fake Indeed profile.
That's what I need to do for the job again.
Baggy shorts, t-shirt.
Do you know what I've just realised? Every single job that I've ever got for the interview that I turned up in, I was not wearing socks.
Yes, Mike, I'm down for the non-sock wearing community.
Is this real non-socks? Is this so small non-socks?
This is real non-socks.
Okay.
Actual non-socks.
Actual non-socks.
I don't think you can risk it. I don't think in a job interview you can't risk it because you might get someone like Hannah Farrell who thinks you're a paedophile if you wear those little tiny socks, and that's not ideal.
I don't get that at all. Because if you don't wear them, your shoes will stink.
What shoes do you wear with that? Do you wear leather shoes or do you wear like? How do they smell?
Like the outside is suede, but the inside is like a really sort of comfortable material. It's one of those very few smart shoes that you can wear with no socks and completely get away with it. Because if you go leather, you got to be wearing the little socks because that is just a hotbed of smell.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And pain
as well.
And pain. Well, actually, no, because my feet is kind of like used to it now. They've got like I'm sure you know, Kate. It's like where you'll wear shoes with no socks on, whether it's high heels or not. Your feet just develop a resistance over time, where it's just like, yeah.
I was about to make a proper sweeping bold statement then say the Vaseline is your best friend, but that wasn't, and I know you'll end up laughing and it'll come back to haunt me. But it is true.
Could that be the podcast
Why are you writing
title?
that down? Stop writing that down.
I think
Stop
it
it.
Vaseline.
So
if we could just clip that moment,
please don't.
Kate saying that would be great.
I even gave myself a disclaimer, and then you'll cut that as well. Also, in Home and Bargain, and it is Home and Bargain, fight me. You can get. I think they're about 79p, and you can get velvet heel covers that actually stick inside your shoe. So our Ellie always has Dr. Martens for school, right? And they last literally like 2 years, but as everyone knows, they take forever to be able to wear in. And I think Vans are the same as well. I find Vans aren't pliable at all, but I love them. And New Balance are in between. But you can get these little velvet tips, and they literally stick to the heel bit on the back of your shoe, so you can't see it, and it stops them from killing your heels. Get some. You're welcome.
Velvet as well. I like that. Is it velvet or velour?
Probably it's substituted 79 pence in Home and Bargain.
Yeah, you never know though, do you?
They're not going to be the finest moleskin. Oh my God, moleskin even, are they? But something similar.
Didn't they win Eurovision?
Just nearly spat juice all over your computer then.